Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments. Ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR. Practice management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company. Attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. OmniWave, redefining comfort and acoustic wave technology. Chiro Health USA. Chiro Script AI. Chiro Moguls. Pure Chiro Notes. 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 725 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Ben Oien. If you want to hear our conversation about preserving the philosophy of the profession, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today I have Dr. Ben Oien coming on from the great state of South Dakota. He's episode 725. Just to let you guys all know, we've been doing this show going on 8 years. So my big ask for anybody that jumps onto these shows is just please share the show, because I know a lot of the language is getting taken out of the chiropractic colleges. So the philosophy is definitely being removed, and some of the most important lexicon is being diminished. So please share the show if you know a chiropractor that's new in practice or may have lost their way. Our big why do we do what we do over here at Chiro Hustle? Well, first things first is we protect freedom of speech. We believe that is the amendment that sets us all to be able to say what we do and why we do it and who it's for without being in fear. And I believe that that's a really important thing. We also believe in medical freedom and family health freedom. I know I shouldn't have to say those things either, but if you need help and guidance with those things, go find an area chiropractor in your city or neighborhood, and they'll be able to guide you and your family to making good health decisions. Philosophically speaking, we protect BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust. If you don't know what that means, go to the show notes, click on Sacred Trust, and you're going to learn more about chiropractic than you ever did before. I guarantee you, even if you've been practicing for 30 plus years, you'll fall more in love with this beautiful profession. If you're a first timer to the show and you're like, whoa, what is that? You're going to say, wow, that's why chiropractors do what they do. And that's why they've been holding this line for the past 130 years. We support subluxation-based chiropractic also. We believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical, gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. And that leads us to the educated intelligence. So it's a triune. When the body is aligned, the body is connected, and the body can see the world for what it is. And this is episode 725. Dr. Ben, welcome to the show.
James, thank you so much. 8 years. Congratulations, man. Thank you for doing this for our profession and allowing me to have a platform with you to speak chiropractic and the love that we have for our profession.
You know, it gives me like chills, like goosebumps on my arms just when somebody is like in the same step with me. And I know when I first met you at Chiro Congress, we were just on fire, and you're like, this is somebody I can like move this profession forward with. So I look at you as a brother, and I'm so thankful for what you're doing for South Dakota. And I think the world is going to be better for it.
Right back at you, brother.
21 years.
Yeah,
what was your big idea? What was the impetus that said, hey, I think I'm going to try this chiropractic thing?
Man, it's probably a story like many others have had in the past. My wife and I were helping my brother move into college down in Ames, Iowa. And as we left the town to head home, we were rear-ended by a car. Another car hit them. I mean, this was a bad collision, ashtray flying out, change everywhere. I mean, this was real deal. And I went home, and we were having pain, and I lived literally a block away from a chiropractor my entire life. Had never set foot in there, and decided I needed some help. So my wife and I went up there, and lo and behold, one of my oldest brother's buddies from high school was interning there. So he was taking care of us, of course, under the doc that was there in Sioux City. And my daughter was about 6 months old at the time. And we'd bring her in with us, and she would have ear infections. And so he would ask, hey, what's going on with Kenzie? And we're like, oh, she gets these ear infections and they're chronic and this and that. And he's like, hey, do you mind if I adjust her? And like a typical, person in the United States, even today, I'd be like, dude, whatever you want to do, you weirdo. You know what I mean? And so he started adjusting her a couple times, and all of a sudden, like, her ear infection started to go away. And I was like, dude, what? I need to know what this magic is. What are you doing? And I mean, for a guy who was, I don't even know how old Scott was, Dr. Sneller back then, 24, 25, 26 years old, but to say, I'm going to take you to lunch, I'm going to pay for your lunch, I'm going to talk to you about chiropractic and what it is and how you get into school, that was a huge thing for me. And he was one of my first mentors. And so really, that's what got me interested in chiropractic. And so I knew about not just the pain-based model, because I got to experience that with my daughter, with the wellness model or the more physical, how that affects the organic model. And it was interesting to me. And so I went into it with eyes wide open. And I remember my very first day of class at 7:30 in the morning with Dr. Fred Barge. And he came in with his huge booming voice. And he, pill to sleep, a pill to wake, a pill for every body ache. And I'm like, what did I get myself into? But I knew that my experience had to keep me, let me have an open mind. And so I just listened and dug into what he was saying and did the research and understood, like, hey, this is real deal. And this is what people should be experiencing every day in their life.
That Barge quote, I've never heard before.
Really?
A pill to sleep, a pill to
sleep, a pill to wake, a pill for every body ache.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, for all the people out there that listen to this show, you guys should write that down. Like put that on a plaque somewhere, because I think when people think about chiropractic, one of my favorite interviews I've ever done is with a non-chiropractor named Les Brown. Do you know Les Brown?
I don't know Les.
He's a motivational speaker, one of the greatest of all time. But I worked tirelessly to get him onto our show because I knew chiropractic was making an impact in his life. It's one S, LES, Brown. Okay. And he says, I love chiropractic because it doesn't cut it out, drug it out, or burn it out.
I like it.
And that resonated with me big time. And I think, like, when you get a giant like Barge and you can, like, learn from that person, now we have to say, what are we going to do for the future of chiropractic? And off camera, we were talking about chiropractic is 130 years and as a profession. And how would you like to see us spread the word of chiropractic to the world, more specifically the United States?
Man, we need more giants in our profession. When I was going through chiropractic school, I had Virgil Strang as a teacher. I had Dr. Koch, Robert Koch as a teacher, or David Koch as a teacher, I should say. But we're losing these giants in our profession. They're still there, but they're starting to age out. And we're losing, like you said, we're losing our lexicon, we're losing our language, we're losing our philosophy. What I would like to see is chiropractors of my age really start to step in and say, listen, this is what we need. And so we need to take over those reins from those doctors. Again, not that we're like pushing them out the door, but continuing to learn from them and then giving back to our students who are currently chiropractors, or these young chiropractors who just don't understand the philosophy yet.
Well, I know, just because I've been around the block since, 16 years. So just right behind you. But what I've started studying is I started seeing the dynamics of the colleges. They started changing the names of the schools. They started taking chiropractic out of it and putting health sciences into it.
Correct.
They started retiring out the great professors that were like the stalwarts of the profession. They started like giving them early retirements so that they could change it and start, I guess, medicalizing the profession and kick the philosophy out of the schools. So I've always said that we need to put people with philosophy into the president roles of every major chiropractic college, and we could take the profession back. So what
I
you're
agree.
saying is true. We need people that have some brass to say, look, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start working as an admissions rep. I'm going to start working as adjunct professor. I'm going to start working my way up to the top. And
Yeah.
I do think that we need to find people out there that don't want to be in private practice anymore and give them the opportunity to say, look, I can still have a career and I can still be an educator. I can still support this profession and keep integrity within it. And I can work my way to the top to make good decisions for the future of this profession.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'll tell you though, that's a hard sell because man, there's nothing better than delivering an adjustment, man. So it's going to be tough to get some people out of practice, but like you said, as they get older and more experienced, and they can kind of phase out. I got 2 kids who are going to be chiropractors, so you just opened up my mind to a different maybe realm and a path down the road.
Well, I mean, the future leaders, like, did you think Fred Barge was like, hey, I'm done being a chiropractor. I'm now an educator.
Right.
But I think like having a guy like that, his presence going into the colleges, or Reggie Gold, even like when you have some legends like that actually like lay down the private practice and they say, I'm going to start going in and making sure that the future is taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a big position. So
Definitely.
Anybody out there watching, consider going into the colleges and becoming the next great chiropractic president and protect the sacred trust. Talking to students, I know you really wanted to talk about philosophy today. And you said you got 2 kids that are going to become chiropractors. What message would you give to students?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of messages to students. Number one, just getting through school is a difficult task. Chiropractic school is not for the faint of heart. My daughter is in finals right now down at Palmer, and she called me today just like, man, I got beat up today. I'm like, you're going to be fine. But it's a matter of just getting through school and taking time when you're in school to have relationships with other people in your class and learn that philosophy together. Go to the spiz nights. Go to those events up at like maybe the fraternities or the sororities where they're speaking chiropractic philosophy, and learn when people come in to speak that philosophy from these docs that want to continue that education. The green books are a tough read. I'm not going to lie, man. I can't tell you how many times I've read the same page 18 times in a row to try to understand it. So my best recommendation, and I did this for my daughter and her best friend, is I bought them Rob Sinnott's book, Textbook of Chiropractic Physiology. I think that's one of the greatest starter books for these kids in college right now. It should definitely, I think it should be in the curriculum, to be quite honest with you, because it's a really good start to understand the principles in a meaningful way, but then also be able to take that knowledge and take it to your patients in a scientific way, and then also be able to go and expand on it once you start to get into the green books and really dig really, really deep into those books.
Yeah, even if it's like the Bible,
Yeah.
many people could read a page of the Bible and not be able to take it all in.
Right.
And you obviously, if you read the same book that you read 10 years ago and you read it today, you're going to find different information that's going to stand out to you because your mind has matured, your life experience has changed. Like there's different parts of us that evolve from the time we read a book 10 years ago to who we are today. So I recommend everybody tapping into at least one page of a green book and just keep it open in your office, just so it's always ever present in your field. And just tap into it over lunch break. Read one line, take a screenshot or take a photo of that one page and study it and pull out ideas and share them with your colleagues. One of the things I always tell people when I'm doing talks to smaller groups is put together a philosophy night in your local community. Invite all the chiros, have dinner once a month with all of them, somebody like catering food, and just have people come up and talk about their why. Why do you do it? And invite the whole like group of chiropractors that are local and build like the local community up. I've been a part of those types of things as a non-chiropractor, and I thought it was one of the greatest things that we could ever do to build our local communities.
Yeah.
And I guess that takes me to the next thing. What are your favorite ways to stay connected to your local community?
Man, I really enjoy doing we call them lunch and learns in the office. So we'll ask our patients or how can we get into the community, whether it's a church group, whether it's your work group. I don't care if it's a Rotary Club. I just want to come and talk about health. And when we talk about health with those patients, we offer them a different perspective. And I think that that's the most important thing that we can do is, number one, ask them, first of all, permission. Can I offer you a different perspective? Once they say yes, that gives you the opportunity to really open up and teach them a different process and a different thought on healthcare, a vitalistic approach of healthcare. It's amazing to see the community change over the years. When you talk about, is a fever a good or a bad thing, and 99% of them say fever's terrible. But when you go to explain the physiology behind it, that it's actually a good thing, it turns on a light bulb within their brain, and then they start to look at their health differently. So we do a lot of lunch and learns. One of my other favorite things that I do is my patients are required to come to a class. We call it our Vital Shift Workshop. And we talk about those things, how chiropractic works, what is a vitalistic lifestyle, what are other things you need to do in a conjunction with the adjustment that's going to take your health to the next level. And I challenge them, hey, when you come in next visit, tell me, what do you do with a sprained ankle? We all know what the typical thing is, but that's not correct. In fact, the medical doctor who created Price came back 20 years later and was like, I was all wrong. But that was so ingrained by that point, just like we can talk about vaccinations or any other things that you want to talk about, where it's so ingrained that people aren't willing to look now at a different perspective. But when they do, it really opens up their mind. And when they start to take action on that perspective, they see their health just skyrocket. And then they want more and more and more. And so it's just a matter of getting out to the public and just telling the story of chiropractic, telling the principles and the philosophy of chiropractic. And the cool thing is, it's all true, man. And like we were talking before we got hopped on here, Didi wrote this stuff even before he even before he gave the first adjustment, man. And this stuff still rings true today, not just philosophically, but it's science-based. I mean, he was way ahead of his time.
Well, there's a lot of things that are like stirring up for me.
Mm-hmm.
First things is in marketing, we call it give them what they want, sell them what they need.
There you go.
That's what a lunch and learn is to me. Like everybody wants to eat, you give them that, and then you get an opportunity to schedule them in as a new patient, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Vitalism, I think it's underutilized as a conversation topic.
Right.
People really don't know what vitality is, and they don't know what a vitality shift could do for them. And I bet when people come in and they go to your talk or to a lunch and learn, I bet people like do this. Why didn't anybody ever tell me about this before?
A million times.
Why are you the first person to ever tell this to me?
Yeah, I've heard it 100, probably thousands, tens of thousands of times.
And that's just why we do hustle. Because there's people out there that never heard the chiropractic message before the way that we amplify it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they're out there thinking, why didn't anybody ever start a chiropractic podcast that told the truth about what it means to like actually have vitality in this world?
Right.
And that's a big problem, is because most people, there's so much information out there, Dr. Ben, but people don't know how to find it and navigate to things that are actually meaningful and helpful to them. And
and it's hidden too.
Yeah.
It's hidden from us. You have to dig deep to find that information.
But it's like titration in chemistry. If you give enough of an element to something over time, the element changes and turns a different compound or a different color.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to keep on doing with telling the truth about chiropractic. We need to titrate like a chemistry experiment to people's subconscious and conscious to get them to understand that, like, if we talk about it long enough, eventually people will get it. Just the same way that the big pharma owns the TVs, and every third commercial is something to tell you that you're broken and sick. Like, imagine if we had every third commercial about chiropractic, what it would do for the vitality. Once again, there's that word of our great nation.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. But that's a great analogy, the titration analogy. I like that.
Yeah, and even like with the whole scamdemic that lambasted us, they never once said you should go see a chiropractor. They never once said you should probably eat whole foods. They never once said try exercise. They never once said stop eating sugar. They never once came out publicly and said these things. And just think about how much of a correction we could have made if our leadership would have actually said, you know what? Stop smoking, stop drinking, stop eating sugar. And not to say that people are bad or wrong for doing those types of things, but they just don't know how to correct it. And that's why I urge people at the beginning of our show, if you need help with medical freedom or family health freedom, go find a neighborhood chiropractor. Absolutely. Because it just makes sense to me that we can start to put this organization together like a jigsaw puzzle. So now when people see this, they're like, why didn't anybody ever tell me that before?
Right. And that's the thing that infuriates me is we had an opportunity during COVID, but there was many in our profession that are so high up that they changed what we could say. I mean, literally, like, we were getting emails and they're like, you can't say chiropractic boosts the immune system. And I said, like hell, I can't. I know it does. I see it every single day in my office. My patients come to see me when they're not feeling well, when they have a health crisis. They know, go see Dr. Ben. They know when they call, they're like, I'm not feeling well today. My team, now is the most important time for you to come in. But some of those in our profession, they hit away from that.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments. Ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR. Projects management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company. Attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. OmniWave, redefining comfort and acoustic wave technology. Chiro Health USA. Chiro Script AI. Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. Let's hustle.
Well, to clear the air a little bit, I see their positioning, but what I will say is that they botched it, but the whole world botched it. And everybody that was a part of that agenda is complicit. And what you're saying is there's a lot of people out there in these organizations, whether they're the leadership or not, they're captured. And they're going to go with the narrative that makes their life safe. But really what they did is they put everybody in jeopardy. So, and that's what they did to the colleges too. And I love chiropractic colleges, man. 2 of them sponsor our show.
Right.
But they even went in and told like these kids that they couldn't go to colleges unless they were to get this vaccine. And I'm like, how much more of a dystopian reality can we live in than to tell people that they have to like take a chemical inside their body in order to become educated, specifically against the grain of the philosophy of this profession,
of your own innate intelligence. It's sickening and it's maddening. And I 100% agree with you.
And, you know, I feel like I get a chance to frame things up and speak on different levels that a lot of chiropractors don't feel like they have the capacity to. And I just throw it all out there, like, because this show does what it does. It offers an opposing viewpoint to the, you know, I call it Easter Bunny science, or, you know, I just think that what we got dealt was a bad hand, and people didn't stand up and say no.
Correct.
And I think that if we had enough people saying I am a dissenter from this idea, obviously the pain of standing up for this profession would have hurt. But like you said, you didn't wear masks, and you were willing to take the repercussions of doing so. And I love the idea. You're like, I would adjust people at nighttime.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's
that's what this profession is. It's a profession full of renegades and rebels.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't think that the average person in the United States knows our history. They don't know about the AMA, and they tried to shut us down. They don't know that literally chiropractors were going to jail to be able to take care of their patients. They don't know that. And when this was all happening, I told my team, we talked about it. I'll do this in the dark in the basement if I have to. I'll go to jail if I have to. My wife was like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "I don't think so. This is what I do, and I have a love and a passion for helping people, and I believe in chiropractic. I know it's the truth and it's the way. And if I got to go to jail because of it, so be it, man."
Well, it's important to do. There's nothing wrong with ever doing the right thing.
Correct.
And that's the thing is the Speakeasy Chiropractic office.
we may have some whiskey too, possibly.
Here's a special knock.
There you go.
You got to come through at this time through this door.
Yeah.
So with all these things, I know that we have a new director of Health and Human Services.
Yeah.
Our RFK Jr. Some people call him Bobby.
Right.
What's your take on him, and how do you think he's going to have an impact going into the next 4 years of this country?
I've noticed a big impact already just around the controversy of him. I know the big controversy is vaccinations. And if you just take that whole thing and put that to the side and you listen to what he talks about with the seed oils, with the preservatives, with the food dyes, with the things that are causing our bodies to be so sick and to be so harmed, if we can get those things out of our systems, our bodies are going to respond better. And then the chiropractic adjustment is going to be even greater and more powerful. You think about it, James, like I used to hear miracles from these older doctors all the time when they were adjusting these patients. And we just don't see those as much anymore in our clinics and our offices. And it's because we live in such a high stress society that we never have a chance to shut down our fight or flight system. It is always on 100 times over. You got the news, man. And that was what I told people during COVID. I said, just shut the news off. Find the opportunities in this. If you have to sit at home and you can't go, find the opportunities. Eat dinner with your family and reconnect, right? Play board games. Figure out these things. Start to exercise at home. There's so many things that you can do that you will take your health to the next level. And I think that that's where Bobby Kennedy is going. He's talking about we need to eat better. We need to eat whole foods. We need to take this crap that's in boxes and pre-made junk and get rid of it. And we need to start to meditate. We need to start to move our bodies. And when you look back at my grandparents and probably your grandparents too, they didn't have the illnesses and the health crises that we did because number one, they were active. Number two, they cooked all their own food at home. I mean, literally, my grandmother had a freaking jar of lard on her stove, right? And she'd just grab that and throw it in the cast iron pan and go. We live a different lifestyle now than we did back then. And I would even say it's probably a death style now. But that's what we need to do is we need to educate our patients on the chiropractic lifestyle. The only thing that Bobby Kennedy's missing, and I know he's a champion of chiropractic, he just needs to say the chiropractic adjustment more, because that's the number one, and then all the rest follows after that.
Get the big idea, and all else follows.
My man, you got it.
Yeah, and also all the food is laden with forever chemicals and glyphosate. And back in 1970s, when I was born in 78, the men of that generation and earlier, they never had dad bods. Okay.
Right.
Like, the reason that men and our culture has such a hard time of like actually getting physically balanced and fit is because there's a poisoning of our culture through our food supply, through our water, through the television, like you mentioned. Yeah. I haven't owned a television in 16 years, man. It's probably why I have this strong perspective that I do. And I couldn't be swayed any other way, because the mind is the last frontier. Mm-hmm. You have to control your mind. If somebody else controls your mind, you've lost the damn game. Right. So that's a big message to chiropractors too. Stay true to your principles. Stay true to your roots. Go out there, check, detect, correct vertebral subluxation. Make that your premise, your major premise of why you do what you do, and you'll have the most thriving practice in any city that exists on planet Earth. Just do the one thing you're best at and focus on that one thing, and then you can liberate people because you're so darn good with the chiropractic adjustment.
Yeah, and one thing that stuck with me while I was in chiropractic school that I've preached to this day to any chiropractor I talk to is chiropractic is specific or it's nothing. It has to be specific. We can't just fly in 7, hit the high spot. No, be specific with your adjustments.
So I've been going around on this tour doing talks. As you know, I'm going to be coming to South Dakota and speaking for your group. But I would open up quite a few of my talks last year. The first slide would be, "This manipulation's for you."
Oh, you're going to make me have a heart attack. You do that, James.
Well, I would ask the audience, how does this make you feel?
Yeah.
And I go, that's because chiropractors don't manipulate, you guys adjust.
Yeah.
And then I'd win the crowd back.
Yeah.
But when you like show the blatancy of one word and how it has like negative downstream effect on somebody's emotional state, like I just did with you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get manipulated.
Right.
But everybody wants to get adjusted.
Yeah.
And they just don't know that it's called chiropractic.
Right. It's interesting you bring that up because I was bowling last night with my wife and my office manager. We're all on a team together and we bowl, and a couple of their friends come and watch us. And she's like, "So you crack backs?" I said, "No, I do not crack backs." And she's like, "I'm a nurse. You guys manipulate." I said, No. Only attorneys manipulate. Love you, attorneys. But you like you said, it's a negative connotation. I said, "We adjust the spine." And she's like, "I like that." And she got it. And so those are the conversations that we need to have with people in the public. And she's not a patient, but she will be at some point in time, whether it's to me or another chiropractic, but she's understanding that these are our words and it's important. And the one thing that I would say that I would challenge all the chiropractors who listen to this, ask their friends one question. What do I do? What does a chiropractor do? They will be floored, because I've done this with my friends and it made me realize that I'm not teaching the chiropractic message as much as I should. I'm not educating even the people that I love the most, that I hang out with the most, about what true chiropractic is. So that changed my mindset a long time ago. And now I share the message with anybody I'm sitting there talking to.
The titration thing is still real.
Yeah, man.
And when we don't, we live in an element that isn't fit for us to live in.
Right.
So we have to continuously tell people if we want to set this world free. I did some research a couple years ago, and I was like, global doctors. I was really curious, like how many doctors are in the world globally.
Mm-hmm.
And 1% of the world population are doctors.
Okay.
And when you really think about the gravity of that, there's 99% of the rest of the population that are dependent upon this culture and this class of people.
Mm-hmm.
And what a burden. So we really have to support the chiropractor because they're a small sliver of that 1%.
Right.
And even tomorrow, if RFK Jr. said, "Hey, we need everybody to go get their nervous system checked by a chiropractor and get adjusted," the demand would be so great that we would burn out all of the serving chiropractors. So it is important for what you're doing, sending your kids to chiropractic school. It is important for others to really consider going into the profession of chiropractic. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's a big, honest, push forward for people to say, give themselves permission to go be this 1%er. Everybody talks about being a 1%er earner, but what about being a 1%er and becoming a doctor? How
Mm-hmm.
powerful is that? And, my mom always used to tell me when I was a little kid, you're only as good as the company you keep.
Yeah.
And now I have everybody I have 750 DCs in my cell phone.
That's cool.
And I think when people think about what I've decided to do, I wanted my friends and colleagues and relationships to be based around this one thing, which is called chiropractic.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to use my talents and time to say, look, if we all talk about one thing over and over and over, like you're talking about with your buddies, maybe people will understand what chiropractic is, and it's not a manipulative profession.
Right. And I would add too as well, I know that I have 3 children. 2 of them will be chiropractors, but my middle child, he works in the office with me. So just like you don't have to be that doctor to make a great impression on our profession. Their job is probably more important than even my job, to be quite honest with you, because they're the ones that are greeting the patients. They're the ones that are making them feel welcome, that are giving them that trust just when they walk in the door right away. Because I can't tell you how many people have walked through and they've never seen a chiropractor before, and they're nervous. And I get it. I was too the first time. But so even if you have kids, they don't have to be chiropractors, but they can be in the profession. They can be helping. They could create marketing for chiropractors. I mean, they could do screenings. Like, there's so many things that they could do to help the profession as well too.
Amen. And I know that you've obviously done a great job of mentoring your kids. Maybe share with the audience who some of your mentors were and who helped shape you into who you are today.
Man, I would say first Dr. Sneller was my number one, just because he introduced me to chiropractic. But man, just the legend Fred Barge, Guy Reekman was our president when I was at Palmer College. I absolutely love those two and would do anything for Guy at this point. Brad Glowacki has really helped me in my practice, and he's very philosophically based. And he's the one who taught us, hey, your procedures are your philosophy. And so I think that that's a great thing to look at. Currently, right now, Lyle Kocha, my buddy down in Omaha, he's a giant philosophy. Rob Sinnott, of course, Brad Polk. Nobody knows about Brad Polk, but they need to know about Brad Polk. So if you can get him on your deal, man, he's awesome. And then I can't tell you, just like you have 750 DCs in your phone, I've got 1,000 in my phone. And I have a group of probably 7 or 8 in like 9 different groups. And I can't tell, we text every single day. And so we give each other that spiz. We're there for each other. We're rooting each other on. We're never comparing ourselves with each other and saying, oh man, I need to be better than Brandon. I need to be better than Tommy. I need to be better than Chris. That's not the case, man. When they come and they're like, yo, man, I saw 100 people today. I saved 100 lives. We're like, yeah, you did. Like, we need to lift each other up as a profession. And that's what my mentors did for me. And so that's what, I don't know that I'm looking at myself as a mentor by any means at this point. Some may say, yeah, but I don't. But I need to lift those other people up just like those people did for me.
Well, I just think it's really an honest conversation when we can see who influences us. Mm-hmm. And that checks us back in with the heart. It's like, how did I become this person? Yeah. And, I always go back to chiropractor number 1, the guy that got me to work in an office 16 years ago, Matt Walker. He saw something in me that could help support this profession. And little did I know 16 years later, I'd be running this podcast, helping so many people understand the profession that he took a chance on and gave me a job working in a clinic. So, I think we have to always look back to how we started, that touch point of who said, this is a good idea for you. Mm-hmm. and not only that, but like, as we're going through it, who helps us out through the bumps? Right. Who helps us out through the doubt? Who helps us out through those testing days like your daughter, where it's like, how am I ever going to breathe? And I think that it's important for us all to have those networks to lean on and, have reverence for the people that came before us.
Yeah, most definitely. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my wife. Man, we had 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old, going through chiropractic school. I would not be where I am today without her. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. So much love to her. And like you were saying, you got to have these people in your corner. I got 2 other team members here that just rock out in my office. And I couldn't do what I do in my community if it wasn't for them. So to have that support staff for people who aren't even chiropractors but believe in your mission, it's important to have those people on your team too, and they need to be thanked and they need to be loved.
And a lot of that comes from being a good leader. And I'm sure that they appreciate you doing what you do to keep the system moving the way that it's supposed to. We're at the edge of our time, but I want you to tell me a miracle story. What's something you've seen over the course of your career that like really stands out that, you know, might inspire some people to maybe take a chance in chiropractic?
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, when I look at kids, when I adjust kids, I love adjusting kids because they're not assaulted with all the nonsense until they get older. And so their healing is really powerful. And I think that that's a good way. I know that's a good way for chiropractors to see a miracle. And I hate calling it a miracle because it's really not. It's physiology, but that's how people see it. They can't explain it, but once we educate them, then they understand what it is. But probably my favorite miracle, I was probably, I don't even know, a year or two into practice. And this guy's name was Tom, and he was a tow truck driver. And think of like a tow truck driver, like maybe Back to Adventures in Babysitting. You remember that just great big burly guy with a beard. And he walked into my office as Dr. Barge would have called me, a fledgling chiropractor. And he said, "What did you do to me?" And I'm like, let's move into the private room here real quick and have a conversation. And I said, you know, what's going on? And he said, "I don't know what you're doing to me, but I don't need my glasses anymore to read the VIN number." And I'm like, that's awesome, man. And here's why, and here's how it works. And so I got to tell the chiropractic story of Dee Dee and Harvey. And he's like, "Is this serious?" And I'm like, "Yes, man, it is. This is what it's all about." And there's really, really great changes that happen in the office. You know, I mean, allowing women to become pregnant, it's a great thing for them. It's a great thing. And it's, again, this is not me, right? All I do is I adjust, man, and the body takes care of the rest. Free up the nervous system and it rolls. And it's the most beautiful, magical thing you could ever imagine in your entire life.
The body needs nothing extra in it. It simply needs no interference.
Body needs no help. Yep. No help, just no interference. You got it, my man.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about doing the show is I get osmosis philosophy at least 3 to 5 times a day on a Tuesday where I get to talk to people about chiropractic.
Yeah.
And we can start connecting the dots together. And when you talked about adjusting kids, they're open vessels.
They are.
You know, one of my good friends, Billy DeMoss, would always tell me, if you don't adjust kids, you suck.
You got
so
it.
Anybody out there that watches this and you get to the end of this interview, if you're not adjusting kids, you suck.
Take care of those babies, man.
Yeah. And, you know, tell the big idea to people, you know, and, you know, you'll probably see more and more again that if we all band together, people might not come in and say, "Why didn't anybody ever tell me about this before?"
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
Dr. Ben, I appreciate you being on episode 725 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you wanted to share with our audience today?
No, James, I think we got through everything. I wrote down some notes and some things I'm going to look up and brush up on and just dig deeper in. Always be learning, man. Just constantly be learning, reading your philosophy, reading your research studies. Heidi Huvik has a ton of stuff out there for us. There's so much research that's coming out that just proves everything that we're doing. So just keep up to date with that stuff. James, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be on this. It was an honor for me. I am super stoked for you to come out to Rapid City, South Dakota and share the message with our profession here as well, too. We're going to do that over Mother's Day. That's May 8th through 10th. So if you're in the South Dakota area, come on out to our conference as well, too.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me out there, too. We're stronger together. This message matters. And the more people that we can help with chiropractic, the better this world will be. And I always tell people, if we could just adjust C1 and C2 of every politician globally, we'd have a better world. So
you got it.
With that, I close out like I always do. And I tell everybody, you're just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye for now. Thanks, Doc.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.